Hi, first grade. Today we're going to make primary colored tiles. Primary colors are yellow, red, and blue, and these are the only colors you can't mix and make. They're also the colors that you use to make all the other colors that you know of. So, for example, if I mix blue and red together, blue and red, I'm going to get purple. If I mix yellow and blue together, right here, I'm going to get green. If I mix red and yellow together, I'm going to have orange. Also, if you want to make a brown color, you could mix all three of these together, and you could also get a brownish color. So today we're going to start with our primary colors. That's all you'll need. And we're going to have our pencil ready. And we are going to start by folding our paper into 4 squares. So the first thing we're going to do is fold our paper in half this way. Make sure the corners are touching. And if the corners are touching, then you can lay it down and flatten out that side and get it nice and folded. Now you can open it back up. You have one line of symmetry. Okay, so if you were going to put like a heart or a square or a butterfly on here, you would have a line of symmetry. So if you folded this in half, both sides of the shape would touch and be exactly the same. Also, if you fold it this way, which we're going to do, we're going to make sure that we fold it this way now. We're going to put it down, make sure it's all even, and fold it. You will have 2 lines of symmetry. So whatever you put here will be the same. If you fold it this way, it'll touch and be the same. And if you fold it this way, and it'll touch and be the same. So for example, if I make a shape in each one of these 4 squares, if I make the exact same shape in all of these, it will be the same when I fold it this way or when I fold it this way. It'll be the same. So some symmetrical shapes that you could do this with would be a square, because any way that you fold this, the squares are going to touch and be the same. It could be a circle, because any way you touch this, it will be the same. It could be a rectangle. If you laid it out the same way on all sides, if you did this, they would touch and be the same. Those are really the main shapes that you could do this with. So you're going to pick a circle, a square. You could even do an oval if you went this way. So you could do an oval or a rectangle. Any other shape won't really work with this. So we're going to pick one of those. I'm going to pick a square because I think the square is going to look really nice. So I'm going to make a square right here. I'm going to make another one right here, and I want them to be about the same size and about the same shape. They might not be perfect, but they are, just as long as you try and do your best and they're close, it'll work just fine. Okay, there's another square, and then I'm going to make one more square. All right, so now we have 4 squares, and we have each side being exactly the same, no matter which way I fold it. I also want to draw a line on the part that I folded so that I can see those lines, because that's going to be important that we separate those two. Okay, now you're only going to use 3 primary colors. I'm going to choose blue to start with, and I'm going to go down my line here with that, and I'm going to go all across this line with that crayon, okay? So make sure that each of these is colored over with crayon, because it's going to keep these from going together and making all different colors. You could have each of these pieces be a different color or the same. I'm just going to make mine blue today. The next thing you're going to do is decide which of the 3 colors you want to make these shapes. So I'm going to make this square yellow. So I'm going to trace it in yellow. I'm going to make this square yellow. So I'm going to trace it in yellow. And I'm going to make this one up here red. So I'll trace it in red. And I'm gonna make this one blue. So there's blue. All right, so we got red, yellow, and blue. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to color in your squares. It's always best to start with the lightest color, so I'm going to start with yellow because then my other colors won't get into that yellow through the water and make it just look yucky. So I'm going to start with yellow here. Just make sure it's all colored in, filled in nicely. I'm going very lightly with my paintbrush, being very careful. Okay, and then I'm going to go in here and fill this one in. All right, the next color I want to use is red. Okay, I'm going to do red here. And there's plenty over here to just keep moving around. I don't want to get too much water and paint in each shape or it will just go all over the place and be yucky. All right, so now that I have all of my shapes filled in, except for one, I'm going to go to blue. And then I will have all of my shapes filled in. I think that looks really, really nice so far. All right, now I can go in and I can add some background colors. So if I want to do a different color background here, maybe I could pick, let's see, what color? Maybe blue for this one. So I'm going to go back here and just be really careful not to go too far over that line because you don't want to make a mess with your paint. I got a little over that line, that's okay. Okay, so I'm painting this one in blue, and then maybe I want to do the other one across from this blue, the other yellow one. Again, don't get too much water. You can turn your square if you need to get it filled in. Uh-oh, that one's starting to kind of bleed a little bit. If it does that, you know, it's okay, but we like it to keep, you know, we like to keep them really separated, but sometimes you might get a little bit of another color in there and that's okay. It still looks kind of cool. All right, so I'm going to get blue on this one. And it also helps if you don't go right up to the edge, because sometimes if you go right up to the edge, they'll start running together. So if I just go just really close, see there's a little bit of white left, that might be even better. So you do whatever you can do to keep that looking nice. Okay. These did not bleed together and they look really nice. All right, so there's that one. And now, let me see. I'm going to put red in the background of this one. I think that's going to look really nice. Again, I'm going right up to the edge. Barely touching it. Okay, this is looking really nice. And you'll have a piece of paper or something behind yours, so it'll be easier to stay on the paper and not get it on the table. So you can go all the way to the edge. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to go to this side and I think I'm going to make this yellow back here so it's different. All right, I'm just going to make sure that I cover all the white space. And once I have all the white space covered in, I will be finished. Just make sure you take your time. Don't rush. Almost there, it's looking good. All right, and I am finished. Now, these did kind of bleed a little bit, meaning that the water kind of went out of where they're supposed to be. The crayons, they're not as waxy as they used to be, but they're still okay. They work all right. So you can also go back in with a wet brush with just a little water and kind of see if you can clean up some of these edges and make them look nice. So you can kind of do that. Maybe put a little more yellow right here, just up to the edge. Okay, that's looking better. It looks kind of neat though. It's kind of interesting when it does that. Watercolor is very fun. So I'm going to go back with some red, maybe cover it up just a little bit. Make it look a little bit cleaner. There we go. All fixed. So now it's looking really nice. Once you feel like you've got it looking good and you're happy with it, you might want to let it just sit for a minute so that it doesn't run all over the place when you pick it up to put it on the tray. You're going to raise your hand when you're all finished, and I'll come around and pick up your square, your tile, and I'll put it on a tray with some others so that they can dry, and then we'll put them up in the hallway. All right, have fun. Bye-bye.